The middle of that Browns line, Teller, Treader, Bitonio, rock solid. The guards have been, the tackles really have been banged up. But Kevin Stefanski talked about that line and how important they are to what the Browns want to do.
It's hard to single guys out on the offensive line. You get fined for doing that. But that group has to play as one, all five guys. And then when you have the three guys inside that play a very physical brand of football, it makes a big deal. And some of these fronts that we play, quite honestly, there's some big people up front, especially last night. A bunch of these under front teams, odd front teams, there's some really stout fronts that we're facing. So to have a physical group, and then ultimately just with Jed and Blake last night, those guys really played as one, all five of them. And Jed in particular, hasn't practiced and wasn't perfect, but he's another example of a guy who he wanted to be out there with his teammates. And then Blake, playing left tackle, playing right tackle, just performs and does his job.
Let's welcome in Tim Bielik from the Plain Dealer and cleveland.com. Tim, how important was that offensive line to what the Browns did without their top two running backs, without their starting quarterback, and with their top two wide receivers certainly less than 100%?
It's what they needed. They needed those guys to really come through. We talked about you talked about the offensive line issues. Last night was the first time Jedrick Wills has played since the Chargers game in Week 5. Just to give him that, when you look at just the way this offensive line has played, and just the health concerns they've had on that side of the ball, the fact that those interior guys that Stefanski particularly mentioned, they've needed those guys to be stout. They've needed them to be strong and really take up some extra ownership of the offense, with the tackles being banged up, with the running backs being banged up, with the backup quarterback in the game. There's all those different things that kind of have to be weighed in there. And to see that those guys play well, I think was a huge statement that's the ultimate core identity of this team, is that whoever's running the ball, that they still can find ways to create holes for those running backs.